morning, guys. Today we're gonna make these cute little clay pins. Really fast, simple, easy. You can decorate them any way you want, but let's get started and see what you guys come up with. Okay, so the first thing you wanna do is decide what type of a shape you want to do. I wanted to do hearts because Valentine's is coming up, even though it might be way past by the time you see this. So I'm doing this heart shape. So design your heart shape. And then what I did is, out of a heavy cardboard, I cut out my shape so I knew what I was gonna use. You could use a cookie cutter, but I couldn't find one exactly the way I wanted it. And then what you're gonna do also is cut out a backing. So after you've traced this out, you can trace this out on another piece of cardboard and cut out a bunch of these for the back. So all I'm gonna do first is just roll out some of my clay, and this is paper clay, and I'm using the IOD paper clay. I just really like it, but you can get clay at your craft shop if you don't have IOD paper clay. And this is gonna be right around a 1/4 inch thick. You don't want it too thin on this project. So all I'm gonna do is take my template, put it over the top, use my X-Acto, and cut around. And as you can see, I have a cutting board underneath with a piece of freezer paper. The cutting board is so I don't cut through my table, and the freezer paper is so that my clay will stick to it well enough, but come off very easily. Look at that. It came out really nice. So the next thing I'm gonna do is just use my Aleene's tacky glue and glue this on to here. So I'm just gonna use Aleene's tacky glue, and you can either put it on your heart or on your cardboard. The cardboard probably would have been easier. And then make sure that you have it facing the right way on the cardboard, whether it needs to go one way or the other way. And this is gonna shrink up a little anyway, so after this dries, then you're just gonna trim the excess cardboard. But this just gives it a little more stable backing on the back, because clay can be fragile. So let's get this dried and let's get going. So when your hearts are dry, like I said, you can trim these edges of excess paper. And then what I'm gonna do is take my sanding block and carefully just sand it a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, it can still have some dimension in it. And having it on the cardboard is gonna make it from curling as much also. There we go, let's get decorating. So on the ones I just did, I used the Midnight Garden because it had such wonderful, tiny little flowers that I could use in this project. But you could use something big, like I said, or whatever you want. And we're gonna use transfers on this clay. I want some red in this, so look at that cute bee. Okay, well we're gonna start with this piece because this is the piece I think I want for the background for the red. And this is a great way to use up your scraps. So I'm gonna have some red, and I'm gonna kind of just eyeball it and look and see. And through the back, you can kind of see. And then just cut this piece out. Or you can just use a pencil and draw it and cut it out. This is a great way to use all your itty bitty little scraps. And then from my Midnight Garden, I still had some really cute small flowers. So I think I'm gonna add them in there. transfers seem to stick to this really, really well. No, do I have enough room? Maybe I will put him just up in this corner. And so when you're pressing on your clay, be careful too. That's why I make it a little thicker, because you don't want to bust your clay while you're doing this. And I'm just going to fold these little pieces over the edges. Do a light sand. Make sure it's burnished down pretty well. Just press it all down. And you can even leave some of it over the edges. It looks kind of cute. And then the last thing I'm probably going to do is add a fun word. And I just have a bunch of these fun little rub-ons that are always great just to add to any little project. Let's do find. So add whatever embellishments you want on here, and if you want to, really carefully, you can sand to make your transfer look a little more vintage. See, there's little lines going through. I'm going to add just a little bit of wax, and then we're going to put our sealer on, and then we're done. So you can use white wax, dark wax, whatever you like. I just want to give a little color to the edges. So where you're, if you don't want this dark, you definitely want to use your clear wax first so it doesn't get this dark. But on the edges, then I have a little color. So I'm just going to use the dark wax, because on that dry clay, it's just going to soak right in there. Over the transfers, it won't be as dark. And then kind of buff it a little. And then I'm going to use my glossy accents. And it's usually better if you use a little brush. But it levels on its own pretty well. So I'm just going to use my finger. Go around the edges. And let this dry. And then we're going to hot glue a pin back to the back, and then we're all done. Love to see what you guys come up with. So if you like this video, don't forget to like and follow my page. And also at the bottom of the video in the description, we'll have some links to where you can get your glossy accents.